stuck in the loop of madness. We've all felt that way from time to time. Starting off with the Seven of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Hanged Man. Stuck in a loop of madness. Today we are going to go into the Underworld and see what we can do about this. Let's see how to get unstuck, because sometimes it's just rumination upon something that happened to us with the Seven of Swords. Something that we just can't seem to forget. Could even be something from the deep past. But sometimes it's much more complicated than that, because the person or people could be gone from our lives, right? But we continue to live in that version of reality that they set us into. The madness that we agreed with at that time, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And we're in that spiral, that loop. You know, if you want to go more psychological with it, we can call that like a trauma response, right? Where we stay stuck at the point of the trauma. It's like we get stuck in that moment, and it's hard to ever move past it, even if we feel in our minds we have. Because with the Knight of Swords, that can be like a consistency in the mind, just mulling something over again and again and again. And the Seven of Swords is talking about deception, trickery, lies. So let's see what we can find. Because that's no way to live, right? We're going to work with the crows again today. Our friends, the crows. They always know what to do. This is the deck that we are using today. It's wonderfully morose, and I'm here for it. How do you like the look? I thought I'd really go there with it. Embody Persephone, embody Hecate, Lilith, Hades, and go into the underworld. Hello and welcome back to the Metamystic Show. We're going to get 3 cards today and then a 4th magic card for the outcome at the end. This is a collective, timeless reading. Thank you all for being here. I always enjoy reading your comments. It's great to know that the readings do resonate and that they can help us process through, because that's really my aim. It's kind of just like having a presence there to help you process your own stuff, right? It's not to tell you anything that you don't know. It's simply to be just like another voice to help you bounce off and mirror back to you the information that maybe you couldn't see, only from a different angle. 3 of Pentacles, yeah. Teamwork, right? And that's what the crows aim to do. They like to help us to gather together and to fly together and to understand the darkness together. One, 2, 3, and outcome. Wow. Judgment and the Moon and the Wheel of Fortune with the 3 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I just gotta pause on that for a minute. Let me take a look. Because this is what brought us here, right? This is how I'm seeing this. The thing that you're most afraid of is actually yourself. Look at how they're looking at each other. But I'm seeing this as all you, all me. Just looking. just observing, trying to understand. The judgment talks about seeing the truth of who you really are in your resurrected form, your highest form, if you will. So what you're gonna find, or what you're most afraid to find, isn't quite what you thought. It's actually your greatest it's a collection of all of the wonders of the person that you are, that you're afraid to look at, actually. And once we can realize that, that's when the wheel begins to turn. Because the reality is, we're the ones who have control over the wheel, whether it feels like that or not. We have the power to move this wheel. We have the power to change a cycle or a thought process. And that's another reason why it's so scary, because at the end of the day, it is our own responsibility. Even if we were the ones that were wounded, even if we were the ones who were victimized or hurt or betrayed or lied to, at the end of the day, it's simply a mirror to us. Not necessarily of the meaning that that person's actions or are like akin with yours, but rather their actions caused you to look at where you had hidden wounds that were revealed in the moment of that betrayal. Like if if your worst fear is somebody cheating on you and then somebody cheats on you, it's like that comes out and you have to grapple with all of those emotions that come along with that. It's that moment of like shock and awe, when really what you're seeing, what you're being faced with, it's not only like a reflection of yourself to yourself. I'm seeing it also as like three. This is giving like mother, maiden, and crone. It's kind of like, even if you're a man or however you identify, it's this concept of like the young version of us, the middle-aged version of us, and the old wise version of us congregating at the center that create the oneness of who we are. And it's this, that's me. And the best way to see a reflection, or one of the best, is to see it mirrored back to you from another person. Because even if it was something negative, it still incites something from you that you can then observe. So we can use every single pitiful, painful moment that we have faced and turn it around, Wheel of Fortune, and actually use it to our benefit as a gift. You're coming together with the past, present, and future version of yourself. And that can be a little bit shocking. But in a good way. It's what's hidden with the moon. Card number 1. The Empress. Let's look at it together. She looks mean, but she's not. You could have RBF. She's very wise. She's very collected. She has gathered the different versions of herself, male, female, non-binary, however you identify. The Empress is all of the queens combined. The water, the air, the earth, the fire. And she sits here as one. Interesting that we have 3-3, so this could be a 3-3 reading here. She doesn't need the approval of other people. She is the approval. She's the approver. In fact, it's kind of giving that energy of how people say, if you're scared about an interview, it's not just about them interviewing you, you're also interviewing them. That's like a millionaire's mindset. And I'm not saying be a dick, I'm not saying be an asshole or be entitled. If you don't have the goods, then you don't. And that's just the reality of the situation. Again, you'll be mirrored back that to yourself. You're not going to have to look far for that. People are willing and ready to make sure that you know that you're not all you're cracked up to be, right? But it's giving that energy. It's like, okay, she doesn't get something. She's fine with that. Because she's connected to the universe. She's connected to those versions of herself. She's connected to the past, younger version of herself, when she was more naive and whimsical and trusting in other people. And she's integrated that into her present, where she's just wiser now. It's not that she doesn't have a kind heart. It's not that she doesn't care about people. She's smarter. It's kind of giving like a Queen of Swords, and I did see her at the bottom of the deck. It's giving Kundalini. She didn't get here overnight. It took her a long time to gather these aspects. Now she's also plugged in to her higher self, which is her older self, you could say, the crone. She has the past version that she's integrated. She's sitting in her present power now, but she also understands that she's not all that she's ever going to be. So it keeps her humble. It keeps her sharp. It keeps her in a student mind. She understands that even though she's accomplished many things, she's the Empress, even though she's integrated these aspects of herself, and she's confident in herself, and she doesn't need anyone else's approval but her own, she understands a sense of humility, awe, and wonder that she kneels and bows down before in the presence of the universe and all that is. She knows and understands that there is not an end to what she can become, and that's why she continues to become greater with each day. Is because she has the understanding of the progression. She understands the wheel. She understands how to use every terrible thing that's happened to her as well as every amazingly good thing that's happened to her and use it to move her forward. And she also understands that she can't do it all by herself. 3 of Cups is community, friends, family. Even reconciling with our own mistakes and versions of ourselves that we're not so proud of. I have memories of falling down drunk, slamming my head against the tire of my friend's car, waking up the next day, almost falling back down the stairs because I had like a concussion and I had bruises all over my body. It's like, okay, that's not really like going on the highlight reel. This was like in my 20s. Hey, I'm the type of person that's like, it's good that you have a party day because if you get that out of your system, then we can move on, sort of a thing. But anyways, I'm saying it's like, but if I also look back at that same period of my life, yes, it was messy. Messy by Lila Young. Yes, it was messy, but at the same time, I think about myself. I was so raw. I was so depressed, honestly. Trigger warning. I had relapsed. Let's bring out TW just for a second. He's just going to make a quick appearance. Because I'm going to mention self-harm, Hong Kong, trigger warning. I had relapsed back into self-harm at this time. I was at a very low moment where I planned to unalive myself, actually. And I remember I was living at my ex's house, and I remember she was inside. And I was sitting up on this tree looking over the city. You could see the whole city from this tree. And I was just sitting there, just looking, just observing. Really, I was observing myself. And I remember getting down from that tree. And I grabbed this guitar and I started writing a little song. Now, I have these nails on today. I'm no Dolly Parton. Have you ever seen that video of her? She's wearing the acrylics and she's just like jamming out. But I remember, yes, it was a very dark time in my life, and I'm not necessarily proud of it, right? But that rawness, that facing myself at my like darkest freaking moment, dude, it brought out of me this side of me that I never would have reconciled with if I hadn't gone there. I'm not saying you should do bad things to yourself, and, drink and all that to find yourself. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's about how you look at it. I can look at myself, oh, wow, addict, drunk, failure, going nowhere with my life. It's like I could have chosen to look at it like that, or I could choose to integrate it, which I have. This was many years ago now. Choose to integrate that as part of, really kind of part of my birth chart, right? This reminds me of a birth chart sometimes, just the way it looks. We also have, it's good to look at your birth chart because we also have these like leans that if we can get ahead of it and we can start moving into our north node, that's part of moving the wheel. It's like, for example, I have a Capricorn north node in the 5th house. So I'm just going to use this as an example. Look at your north node. So my south node is Cancer. So a lot of my issues have come around family, which makes sense. Having a Cancer south node, 4th house, most important thing to us is family. And I have some other crazy placements with like Saturn in the 5th and stuff like that. So it just Chiron and Leo and just some stuff that can make it like hard for you, right? Basically. And we all have that stuff in our chart. So my point is, if we become aware of that, again, it's looking in the mirror, looking at what we got going on. It doesn't have to be birth chart based if you're not like an astrology person. But I always recommend astrology because it's been very eye-opening for me, and I'm so grateful for what I've been learning the past like 4 years or so. You'll be shocked at what you can find, but my point was saying that is getting into your north node is what moves the wheel. So if we can understand where we have like hang-ups, where we have problem areas, we can begin to reconcile with that stuff. And we can begin to change the way we perceive our own selves. You can look at yourself like, oh, I was a tortured poet, writing music, sitting in the tree, looking over the city of Bristol, Bell City, back in, whenever the hell that was, 2016 or something. Or I could have been a failure, a loser, a sinner, right? All those things. It's not to say that I excuse behavior or that I think that that was a great way for me to be. It's about integration and taking the good things from it. Because I remember sitting there with flowers in my hair. It was one of the most raw times of my life, and I'm sure that you have moments like that as well. That's the sort of stuff that the Empress, she frames an old picture of herself and puts it in her office just to remember. Number one, how far she's come, but number two, the good parts of that time that she could integrate into her system and accept. It's like radical acceptance. It's accepting the shadow. That's what we're doing today. I'll have to bring Herman back in. He really knows what's going on there. He just takes a different approach. This is more of a high priestess approach. He takes the more wise old sage approach, right? Card number 2. Whoa. I gotta block this out. This is kind of a sexy devil card. I'll show what I can. Oh, I really can't. Hold on. What can I do here? I'll do this. Use your imagination. There's a man looking down at a woman and she's bent down. Woo! But this is the devil. And speaking of North Node, Capricorn is my North Node. So I felt to talk about that. Look into your North Node. Because that's where you're headed. Or that's where we should be headed, right? It's like it's the head of the dragon versus the tail, which is the South Node. It's not that we disregard or cut off our South Node. I saw the 5 of Swords on the bottom of the deck, yeah. See, the 5 of Swords, there's a card in the Wild Unknown. I'm looking at it right over there. Where it's like it's an earthworm cut in half, and I'm seeing that. We don't want to cut off old versions of ourselves. I had this weird experience the other day. I had a bouquet of roses and I wanted to kind of just like pull off one of the petals to put on my altar to give as alms to my goddesses. I normally just wait for them to fall off, right? But I was like, well, what's the harm in this? I'm just going to pluck one off. But then something really weird happened where, and this has never happened to me before, that rose started wilting like exponentially. And then in like 2 days after that, all the other roses started dying as well. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. That's some sort of symbolism. Don't like pluck the life. But the reason I was saying that is because with the 5 of Swords, that can be like cutting off. It's like cutting a piece of yourself away because of shame. Don't cut it. Don't cut it. We integrate. The South Node and the North Node, it's one beast, right? It's like the snake. Here's the tail, this is the South Node, and this is the North Node at the head. If we cut the tail off, this snake is going to die. So it's about the integration of the two. Integrating our dark side. Integrating the parts of ourselves that we're either ashamed of or that are too taboo, or, there's always gonna be someone that will love you just as you are, right? There will always be people who understand with the 3 of Cups. But what we can start with is we can understand it. We can accept it. We can integrate it. We can reconcile with it. You have the control. You don't need somebody else to be like, oh, it's okay that you went through that, or that you're like that, or that you have those interests. Like, yeah, it's a little taboo, but we love you anyways. Yes, it's amazing to hear that stuff, that you're accepted and loved and everything. But if for some reason you don't have that, what do we do? Are we just stuck? Are we just stuck on the wheel that we're just lonely and nobody loves us, and let's just like kind of give up and die basically? Or are we going to take our power back, integrate those aspects of ourselves, and actually learn to love them and be like, wait, it's kind of crazy that I'm even sitting here today, right? Kind of crazy that I even made it this far. It's taking pride in your story and in yourself, for how far you've come and how far you're about to go. The past self, the present self, and the future self, the three of you, me, myself, and I, coming together. Card number 3 is the Emperor. Boom. Now, what did I just say? Look at those two together. That's a power couple if I've ever seen it. So, now, we'll take it literally first. Say this Emperor is another person, or this Empress, or however anyone identifies here, right? I was saying before that there's always going to be somebody that will accept you just as you are, right? That could be this person or this person. But this could also be the masculine and feminine aspects of yourself. I'm hearing something about like inner misogyny, and you could be a woman, right? Where it's like you feel like men look at women a certain way. Now, I would argue that it's not quite the way it was today. We have a lot more open-minded men today. But you do still see a group of douchebags walking by and saying some shit. So I'm not going to go too far with it. But what I am going to say here is, if you can find someone who has also integrated their shadow, their devil stuff, that's who you can be with. And you're never going to have a problem, because they have, and an emperor and an empress has done this. That's why I'm saying it. They've reconciled with themselves. They've integrated their shadow self, and that's why they have the position of power that they do. Because they have taken that step, or those multitude of steps, of looking in the mirror and becoming acquainted with who they really are behind closed doors. The things that people don't know about. The things that maybe they themselves didn't even know about, but they've dug it up through shadow work and introspection and looking at themselves after like a 4-day drinking bender, looking in the mirror and seeing how their beard is all scruffy, and they're just like, I gotta do something about this. It's that sort of a moment. And we've faced many of those moments. He looks like a wise emperor, too. He looks kind of more like a hermit. Look at his long beard. I feel like he has like one eye. I feel like one of his eyes are like gouged out or something. And you know how the emperor is always holding that little circle? This looks like a crystal ball to me today. I feel like this is a spiritual emperor, I feel. I almost said I fear. This is a spiritual emperor, I fear. Why would you fear that? Maybe because you feel like somebody will actually see you, where before maybe you've been with people that are not able to see you, and that's been the same thing that's broken your heart. They don't see me, they don't understand me, they don't know me, they don't acknowledge me, they don't see my talents, they don't see that I'm worth something. That could be part of what you've been going through to become this empress, is that you're realizing that the same thing that you have desired is also the same thing that you're extremely afraid of when it really comes down to it. Is that you would have somebody who could look you in the eye square and see all your secrets and your flaws and actually still accept and love you. To start, this is two aspects of you, meaning the masculine and the feminine. So if you're not looking for love, or you're already in a relationship, whatever, what we can do, what we do have control over, speaking of the devil, because the devil can be the devil can be toxic control. Damn it. Showed it. We have control over the wheel, is what I was going to say. We have control over integrating these two sides of ourselves, even if nobody else is involved. But when we do this, it's only going to attract others that have done the same. Like, this could even be a friend with the Three of Cups, an ally of some sort. Someone that you see revelations when you look into their eyes, and vice versa. Because they mirror back to you the true version of who you are, not the flawed one that maybe past partners have seen, because what they're seeing is themselves reflected in you. So if we partner with people that are broken, that are not willing to do the work, that are afraid of their own shadow, of their reflection, then they're never going to be able to mirror back to you this empress, because they're not capable of it. They see you as a threat. They see you as everything they're not. So it's easier for them to project onto you all of their flaws, all of their insecurities, all of their problems and issues, and then act like that's the mirror that you're mirroring to them, when in fact they're actually just mirroring themselves. Right? But if you have somebody mirroring back to you a strong presence, it's almost a little bit shocking with the Judgment. It actually feels a little intimidating. But this is the crazy thing. You're actually just seeing a reflection of who you actually are. So you're kind of getting a taste of your own medicine meeting a person like this, because... And you could be meeting this person in the underworld. You could be doing this shadow work and integration, and then you bump into this emperor or this empress as you're down there. For some, I'm also seeing this as some sort of like past life with these cards, especially the Moon, the Wheel of Fortune, Judgment, and the Three of Cups. Some sort of past life reconciliation where you recognize each other from another time. I'm seeing like an old train station. I'm seeing like the 20s. I'm seeing like footage of a black and white train station with the billows of smoke coming out of the train. You could have possibly had like a past life with this person. This could also be you connecting with a past life that you've lived. As you begin to do this work, it does get a little trippy like that, you know. If this is a relationship for you, it will be very deep, because you will be looking at each other from the darkness, from the moon, from the hidden spaces. The places in yourself that you've already reconciled with, Three of Cups. You've already done the shadow work. You've already integrated your dark side, your shadow side with the devil. So you're not going to be standing there shaking. You're going to be looking at this other person. Look how calm they both look. They look very calm. They're just observing each other. It's almost like seeing something that you've never quite seen before. Card number 4, our outcome, is the Star. You heal each other even from afar, I'm getting. If this is a connection, you're healing each other now. You know each other. See, this kind of looks like the crone. This is like an old version of yourself from the future. I'm hearing some names. Like, this is somebody you know. Even if you've never met them yet in this life, you're going to recognize this person when you meet them. And this might even just be like a really amazing friend with the 3 of Cups. This doesn't have to be romantic, but I'm getting strongly this is somebody you will recognize. I'm hearing something about they're from your homeland. Now, I'm also hearing Homeland Security, so they could work for the government or something. Or that's an analogy. It could be like your homeland, like they're like a Pleiadian like you, for example. Or it could also be like you both lived in Peru in a past life, your homeland. Or it could be you have a similarity between you two. You have a kinship of the soul. It could be that as well. Let me just get a tiny bit more on this star energy. Speaking of, we have Taurus, Capricorn, Aries, Aquarius. Our whole spread is major arcana. See, this is big stuff. This is like really, really deep, like underworldy stuff. So I'm glad these cards came out because I was feeling that. I was feeling it rumbling in my soul. So for some of you, this truly is, and it's interesting because it's like you're coming together on this, the Devil card. You are joining together on the basis of, I'm going to lead with my shadow side. It's very interesting. You're not going to have any surprises with this person. This person might even say something to you like, hey, I struggle with this or that. Here's my background. I just want to let you know that this has happened and that's happened. And, these are the things I've been through. It's kind of like they're giving you like the things they've already worked through it. This person isn't going to be sitting there like ashamed of themselves. They're very confident. They have, as are you. You've both come to this understanding within yourself. You don't need anybody else to validate you or to tell you anything. It's more, they would be coming in with a sense actually of pride of how far they've come. And so they're sharing that with you with this almost hoping that you will understand the language that they're speaking. And it's a language of the darkness with the devil. This could also be you to them. I feel like it's both of you. Let's clarify this star a little bit here. Yeah, I just opened up to the Lovers. Wow. You heal each other. You heal each other is what I just keep... I'm not trying to keep repeating it, but I'm getting that. Yeah, look, 10 of Swords. Ugh, that card creeps me out. It's like everything that you both have been through with like exes, family, situations you've been through, failures you've had, all the stuff you've reconciled. It's like you don't need another person to heal you, but this other person will be healing because they are everything that you wished these past people were or these situations were, even though you've both reconciled with the fact, okay, that happened. I accept myself. I love myself regardless. I am who I am, and I'm going to move forward confidently. It's not that you need each other, it's that there is this healing element. It's just a very healing connection, and now we have the Lovers at the bottom. Clarify the star for us, please. This is our outcome. You could also both be healers. Again, it's Aquarius energy. You could be like humanitarians, possibly even in the future. Because I am seeing, like, you know, those food drives where people, like, wear the same t-shirts. I'm seeing, like, a long table with, like, food, like, giving out food to people, or some sort of, like, humanitarian effort. It could also be, like, animals. It doesn't have to be that, guys, but it's something where you, like, work together, possibly. Yeah, Ace of Cups. Wow. I like that Ace of Cups. Yeah, we have a King of Swords at the bottom of the deck. This person's serious, you know, and so it might actually take you a little bit aback at first, this person. They might actually even intimidate you a bit. And this could be the other way around. This could be the Empress to you. Feels a little bit intimidating for whatever reason, but your hearts are going to resonate. I'm hearing those like tuning forks, and they resonate at a perfect pitch, and they both harmonize with each other. We also have the Queen of Wands. See, this is interesting. It might be like this sort of dynamic where it almost seems like it doesn't quite go, even though it's the Emperor and the Empress. It's like maybe you guys both kind of show up in one of these. Like, let's just say, for the sake of the argument, it could be the King of Swords could be the Empress, but I'm just going to say for the sake of the argument here that maybe the Empress shows up more as like the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is beautiful, has that energy of like attraction, attracting things to her, creative, dynamic, right? The King of Swords has kind of a serious demeanor. Might even seem a little bit cold or standoffish. But look what's on the inside. Look at this heart. So it's possible that you both might get the wrong impression of each other at first, is what I'm getting. This person might think, if you're this Empress, that you're just like, you know, the things you could think about a Queen of Wands, that they're only into their looks, or they're cocky, or like full of themselves, or, you know, vain or something like that. But that's not the case, because the Empress is all for queens, but maybe they get this perception, maybe you're just like really attractive. They get this perception of you. But with the King of Swords, you could have a perception like, oh my God, they remind me of my ex. Or are they kind of even like a narcissist maybe? Because King of Swords in the reverse can be like very narcissistic, very mean and cold with their words, heartless, right? But in reality, what I'm seeing is, no, this person's just, I mean, maybe they're even like an air sign. Maybe they're like an Aries Aquarius, or, you know, maybe they have like those aspects in their chart. It doesn't have to be that, but it's giving like Mars and air. Like, that's a very dynamic energy where they could just maybe even be more quiet. Like with the King of Swords, like even if they are an emperor, maybe they kind of seem more reserved, or maybe they seem like they would be cold, but then when you get to know them, it's like we have this Knight of Wands. It's like they could be, all of a sudden, they might just be like super funny, or like come out of character. Like maybe you see them like possibly even like at work or in a professional context, or you see them when they have this King of Swords. But then I'm seeing it's like they're actually very warm. I mean, we have Aries here. They could actually be an Aries. They don't have to be. But the Knight of Wands is playful, fun, kind of spontaneous, funny, attractive, Like, this is the sort of person that might surprise you, is what I'm getting. Ten of Pentacles as well with the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, I had a feeling you might know this person, like, from work, or you do similar work or something with the Eight of Pentacles. But the Ten of Pentacles, you or this person or both of you could have money. Or that's the life you want to have. You want to have a Ten of Pentacles sort of a lifestyle. Anything else on this? Ace of Cups, though, with the star, so healing, so beautiful. True, real, authentic people. Yeah, Two of Cups, guys. Wow. Wow. And Five of Cups at the bottom. You could have both really faced a lot of sadness in your past and not knowing what to do with that, with the Two of Pentacles. And it's like you've healed some stuff, and so now you can come together with the Three of Cups. And the Two of Cups, absolutely. But I will also qualify. It's coming back to me again. This does not have to be a relationship, but that story is for some people here who are looking for love. But if you're not, or you're in a relationship already, first of all, your relationship could just be getting better if you're already in one, if you're both healing and stuff like that. But what I'm also seeing is it's giving me this image again with the two crows and the two people looking at each other that are actually just you looking at you. So this could all just be you and you. Reconciling all these different aspects of yourself, healing things with the star, and joining all those pieces of your heart together. It's a really beautiful, inspiring energy. I feel like this person sees you as very inspiring. I mean, you both could be very impressive with the star. You both could be possibly even seen in some way as a star. But it's from the right place if that's the case with the Ace of Cups. So I love you guys. It's been Missy Gordon, the Meta Mystic here. Remember, you can always listen to the show on Spotify and Apple Podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. EST. And you can always watch it on my YouTube channel at the Meta Mystic. Always love to read your comments. I love you guys. And if you want to book a personal, info is down below. You can always just email me and book a reading, and I have your reading back to you within 5 days. So it's always great to do personals for you guys. I love to get to know you, and it's really nice to be able to connect with you one-on-one. I offer written email readings as well as 15 and 30-minute video readings if you're interested. And I want to thank everybody who donates to support the channel as well. I really appreciate you guys, and I love each and every one of you, and I'm proud of you every day. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.